It'd be kind of funny if to make pie charts you actually had to bake a pie every time. Funny and delicious. But actually, you can just do 'em on paper, so or on computer, as the case may be. I'm gonna draw a pie chart here on my screen based on this information here. So kind of take you through the process of making a pie chart. So here's my information. 3 of my bears are black bears. 5 of my bears are sun bears, and 2 of my bears are grizzlies. So, by the way, if you don't know what a sun bear is, here's a picture, courtesy of Tambako the jaguar. I assume he's not actually a jaguar. I think that's a pseudonym of a human who took this picture. Anyway, he graciously donated it to the Creative Commons, so that's why we're using it here. Thanks. And so this is a sun bear. It's got the little distinctive marking there. So yeah, 3 of my bears are black bears, 5 are sun bears, and 2 are grizzlies. So immediately you can look and see there's a hole here. These are the parts of holes. So how many total bears do I have? We got so see I've got 3 black bears, 5 sun bears, and 2 grizzlies. So 3 plus 5 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So 3 out of the 10 are black bears, 5 out of the 10 are sun bears, and 2 out of the 10 are grizzlies. So step 1 of making a pie chart to represent information is to find the total of whatever you're dealing with. In this case, I made it nice and easy, nice 10 to make it easy on ourselves. But whatever the total is, find that, and then find out what the parts are. How many out of the total for each number that you want to represent. Okay. Then what you can do is you can take each one of those fractions and turn it into a percentage, because the pie charts are really representing percentages. So 3 out of 10 is equal to 30%. And what you do is just divide 3 by 10 and get the decimal. That'd be 0.3. And then you move the decimal 2 to the right to say what the percentage is. So this is 30. So 30% of my bears are black bears, and then 5 out of 10 would be 50%, and 2 out of 10 would be 20%. Okay, so now I need to represent this on the pie graph. So you can kind of do this sort of however you want to. Just need to make sure that everything adds up to 100%. So that this does, 30% plus 50% plus 20% is 100%, and you have to use the whole pie chart. So that's kind of the whole point. The whole pie chart represents 100%, and then you do the percentages accordingly here. So we could just start. Let's just start with the biggest value. That'll make it nice and neat. So these are the sun bears. So let's pick a color that'd be good for a sun bear. How about yellow? So 50% of my bears are sun bears. So half the pie, 50%, would represent. So I'm just gonna fill in pretty sloppily a section of the pie chart that represents 50%. In other words, halfway around. So then I would label up here maybe just a little key that says yellow is sun bears. And if you want, you can just label the percentage if you want people to be able to see the exact number. So imagine that's a percent sign. That just helps them get the exact number here. If it were 49%, it would basically look like 50%. So you could just write 49% just so they would know. Okay, so we did that one. Let's put up the 30%. That's the black bear, so let's just make that black. So 30%. So halfway around is 50%. So half of that would be 25%. Let's see. So like this would be 25%. So 30% would be a little bit more than that. So this would be 25%. So that's what I should have done. So let's call that 30%. So I fill this all the way up. can't have any overlap between the sections. So I'm filling in an area that represents 30% after my area that represents the 50%. Let me just get these guys out of here. That's sort of misleading. Yeah. So we've got 50% here, 30% here, and the remaining should equal 20%. So which is right. So a quarter of the pie graph would be 25%. So 20% would be a little bit less than a quarter. So let's fill in. So if that's grizzly bear, let's just make that black, I guess. Oops. Or brown, I mean. That would be clearer. And we'll label that. So that's the grizzly, grizzly. That's 20%. And I needed to label my black bears here. Probably can't see that. Black. Something like that. So it's a visual representation of these percentages. Make sure you use the whole pie chart and fill it in accurately. Okay, so half the circle is 50%. If you were going to do a section that represented 25%, you would do half of the half. So something like that. Just make it accurate and color each one a different color so that people can look at it and tell which section represents which value.